So we have just purchased the Huawei Mateview monitor. This is not a sponsored video. We actually purchased this for our office. We've just got the new 14-inch MacBook Pros in for myself, and Lewis has got a brand new one. And I've been looking for the ultimate monitor, something that could compare to the Apple XDR display in terms of design anyway. I've got the LG Ultrafine monitor and I've never really been that happy with it. I think it looks very ugly, it's got some very thick bezels, and there were some sort of specs that I needed and wanted to have for a new monitor for our video editing. And that is HDR, 4K or 4K and higher, built-in speakers, and just a beautiful design. You know, we want our office to look nice. So this could be the monitor for that. So in this video, this isn't a full review, but we're going to give you a full tour of this monitor. So let's unbox it and take a look. Okay, so let's take this out of the box. This, I'm sure, is all of the cables. We're not going to go too much into this. We're just going to get the thing set up. Take a look at that. Okay, so here is the monitor, and already, I mean, when you take it straight out of the box, without even unpacking it, you can see how thin this is. Look how nice that looks, even with its cellophane on. So let's take it off and take a look. How do we undo this? So there we go. I'm going to read the instructions in a bit just to make sure that we're taking all the separators off on the back, but let's just have a quick look around here just before we give you a full tour. But just look how nice that looks and how thin this is. Let me just pop that to the side. Don't know if you can see there, but that's incredibly thin for such a high spec monitor. What I like about this is just very minimal in design. It looks really pretty. It's going to do the great job. It's got built-in speakers on the back. You've got an HDMI port. You've got a mini display port, I think, USB-C power or Thunderbolt power, two regular size USB ports, another USB-C pass-through port so you can essentially just plug in your MacBook Pro and that will power your MacBook Pro. It looks like there's a headphone socket there and a power socket. But let's continue to set this up and let's take a look at that display. So now we're all set up, let's take a look around this monitor. It's a 28-inch 4K plus display with a 3:2 aspect ratio. Now, this is the kind of aspect ratio you get on an iPad Pro or the Surface Pro line, and I really like this. It means you can have two documents or two full-size web pages side by side. Or if you're video editing like we are, you can have a bigger viewer monitor in the top right corner with plenty of room for your timeline all along the bottom. This is also the reason it's called a 4K plus screen, because it has 1.5 million more pixels compared to a regular 4K display. There's a 94% screen to body ratio, and this was one of the main reasons why I picked it up. It really does look like something that Apple would design, and in my opinion, it's very close in design terms to the XDR display, even if the actual display isn't up to that level. The bezels are very small, and whilst not quite edge to edge, they are very close, and I think one of the smallest bezels you can get on any monitor at the moment. From our use of it so far over the last few days, I've got to say I've been really impressed with the image quality coming out of this monitor. The blacks look nice and deep, whites look white, and the HDR videos are really bright and vivid. And yeah, of course, there are better monitors out there, but for this price range of £600, it's not a cheap monitor by any means, but I think you'd be hard pressed to find a better monitor with these features and this A-class design. It has HDR 400, so handy if you want to start editing projects in HDR in Final Cut Pro, Premiere Pro, or DaVinci Resolve, or if you just want to watch back some HDR content from your MacBook Pro. Now, when I was shopping around for a monitor, what I noticed is that most don't come with any built-in speakers at all, which is actually a real issue for me. Now, the Mateview features two 5-watt front-facing speakers, and let's be honest, these are never going to be the best for monitoring high-end audio, but for general use and basic video editing, they're actually pretty perfect and quite loud. I would say where they let us down a little bit is that there isn't much bass at all, which is a bit of a shame. There's definitely a hint of bass, but really not much more than that.
So this is the audio coming straight out of the Mateview monitor. Now, as you can hear, it's not the best audio in the world, but most monitors don't actually have a microphone built in at all. So this is the audio quality that you can expect from the Mateview if you're doing FaceTime or Zoom calls using the Mateview.
Now, in terms of ports, on the right-hand side of the monitor, we have two USB-A ports, a USB-C port used for connecting your MacBook Pro, PC, or iPad, and a 3.5mm headphone jack. If we turn to the rear, we have a USB-C power port that is used to power the display, a mini display port, and an HDMI port. Just having some old USB ports is really handy for connecting older devices in the office, you know, like printers, older hard drives, and something that I do miss on the LG ultrafine monitor that I've been using up to this time. One thing I don't like about the monitor is that the USB-C cable that you use to connect to your laptop sticks out from the right-hand side. I really would have preferred them to put this port on the back, just to keep the design nice and sleek and cables hidden out of the way. It always means you have a little ugly cable popping out to the right-hand side. Now, there are a few extra features like wireless play that you can use with a Huawei phone. However, we're all using iPhones, so we couldn't test out any of those features. Now, in terms of downside, if you're a gamer, this does not have a super high refresh rate, so something to bear in mind if you do like playing games. For us, it's just being used in an office environment for work and video editing, so it's perfect for what we need. Now, one thing I thought about when using this monitor is occasionally I like to connect my iPad Pro to my monitor, connect a wireless keyboard and mouse, and use my iPad like it's a full desktop in a way, as much as you can with an iPad. Now, when you connect an iPad to any other display that's 16:9, like this LG ultrafine display, you'll see you have some huge borders on the right-hand side and left-hand side, and it doesn't look very good at all. But because this is a 3:2 aspect ratio, when you plug the iPad Pro in, it almost fills the entire screen. Yes, you do get some little borders on the left and right hand side, but they're barely noticeable and actually makes the experience of using your iPad Pro much more like a full computer. So definitely worth a look if you use your iPad Pro for your main work and you just want an external monitor to use with it. So overall, what do I think? To be honest, I think for under £600 here in the UK, this is the best looking 4K monitor you can get for your Mac. It's sleek, it has speakers, a good port selection, and works better than expected. It's so nice, I think I'm actually going to sell my older LG ultrafine display and get one of these for myself, because this monitor is actually for Lewis, who does our video editing. And just a reminder, this video has not been sponsored at all. We bought this monitor out of our own pocket and we have not been contacted by the company at all. So all opinions are my own. So let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. And if you want to see how well you can edit, by the way, on an iPad mini, make sure you subscribe to the channel, because that's going to be the video that's coming up very soon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.